Hello, everyone. Today I am going to demonstrate how to do some very simple video editing in a program that is called Olive. Olive is a free download. I love the free part because video editing software can often cost you in the hundreds of dollars. So the fact that it is free is very nice. It's also very easy to use if you have any experience with doing video editing or audio editing. It's extremely easy to use. It doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles that the expensive ones have, but it has enough to do what we need it to do. So look for the free download for Olive. So I've got Olive opened here, okay? Now this is where I'm going to be pulling my clips from, my files. Now, video files, there's often going to be multiple video files from one investigation, and that's because video files are extremely memory that's required. They eat up a lot of gigabytes. So what the cameras do, because you could never do 3 hours straight videotaping and have it all in one file, you wouldn't be able to manipulate it. So what the camera does is it actually breaks them down into usable chunks. So my cameras typically give me files that are 22 to 27. I think the one today is, they're only 22 minutes long. So that's why you'll have, if I'm doing the surf room, for example, at the Ocean City Life Saving Station, I had, I think, 12 files from that investigation. So, and of course we had to go through all 12, but you only have to edit, the files if you find that you want to look at something more closely. If you've got a possible EVP or something, shadow moving, or whatever it is. So now with Olive open, it's very easy to move a file. Very easy to move a file into Olive. So all I have to do is click on the file that I want to move, and I'm going to drop it down in this box. This is our source box, okay? So it's not actually going to move that video footage into the program. It's going to instead be reading from the original file. That's why it's able to do this so quickly. So. All right, from there, I'm going to create a timeline. So this is where I would see the video footage if I was creating a masterpiece with multiple clips, for example. You're gonna put all the clips that you want on the timeline. But this is, as I say, probably the simplest type of editing you'll ever see. Now, once I click on that file and drag it to the timeline, it's going to open this box. You always want to, what it's asking you is for the parameters of the file. You just want to automatically detect the parameters from the footage. Okay, so it drops the entire. Now it's going to drop the entire footage, the entire video footage on that timeline. Obviously, I don't want all 27 minutes of that timeline. I'm going to have to move this up a bit. There we go. So, and it's elongated. In other words, this is one minute. Now it's 1 second. This is 2 seconds. This is 3 seconds. What the clip I want, by the way, is 16 minutes and 30 seconds into the actual file. So, in order to get to where I want, I'm going to use this bar down at the bottom, and I'm going to elongate it. And as I elongate it, you notice that everything's getting squished together. So now we're at 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I can elongate it to the point where I can see the entire clip all in one setting. So this is how I know that it's 27 minutes long, 27 and a handful of minutes long. So as I start playing, by the way, if I were going to play this entire clip, and you're not going to be able to hear it, unfortunately, but you're going to be looking at this. This is your actual time code, okay? This is not your time code. This is telling you how much how much longer in the clip before the end. But this is the number that you want to pay attention to. This is your time code. So, and again, I know because I put it down in my logbook that I am looking for a clip, a segment of the video at 16 minutes in and 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is, because you cannot hear the audio because you're picking up my microphone, that's what you're hearing. I'm going to just go over to about 1530. I'm 1538. Again, that's my time code right there. And I'm going to come over here. Notice these are my tools, okay? I have found it easiest to just use the razor tool, okay? It's just simple. It's clean. It makes life easier. So I'm going to take it over to where my my pointer is, and I'm just going to click it there. And what you'll notice is it cuts the video, right? So I know I got it at 1530, and I'm going to go to 1630. So I'm going to just go to 17, and I'm going to click at around 17. Okay. And again, normally I would be using my headphones, and because you guys can't hear the audio. So now I want to take it off the razor tool, because every time I click somewhere, it's going to cut the video. So I go back over to tools, and I'm going to choose my pointer tool right there. Okay. So now I can come using my pointer tool, and I can click on the video right there. Notice it highlights it, and I just use my delete key to remove it. And I do the same over here, and I delete it. So now I have about a minute and a half segment, okay? And that's all. So now, if I were to export it this way, however, I would have a a segment that was 15 minutes and 38 seconds of blackness, and then my 1 minute clip, and then blackness afterwards, right? So obviously I don't want to do that. So I'm going to, now I can move this on the timeline, but I have an even easier way to do it. If I right click on that timeline and I come up to ripple delete, boom, it's going to move it to the front of that timeline, okay? And I don't have to mess around with it and worry about anything. So I've got a minute and a half segment of video, and again, you're not going to be able to hear it, unfortunately. But now, one other thing that we can do in Olive, and it's very easy, is you can boost the audio, because very often an EVP is going to be very, very soft, and so it's very often a good idea to boost the audio, so you don't need a heavy duty headphones in order to hear it. So, but you'll notice I've got my video editor up. That's what they mean by video nodes. So I'm going to close that by clicking on the triangle or pointer. Okay, and then underneath the video editor is going to be my audio editor. So it's very easy to boost audio in Olive. So if I come over and I want to boost it, you're probably never going to want to boost it any more than 10. And I'll show you why. I did this a little earlier though, and I found that 3 was about all I could boost it. So I boosted it 3 decibels. That's what dB stands for, is decibels. So now if I play it,
I just got this. If I would have ordered this off of Ghost Knob or something like that, it would have taken 2 weeks.
It's going to boost all the audio in that clip. We want to, normally audio would fall out, you want your audio to fall out no higher than -12, and notice it was very loud. But as long as it doesn't get up into this red zone, as soon as it starts pinging in that red zone, you're going to have problems. If it gets loud to the point where it's too loud, it will actually just kind of black out your audio. So, but it's going to cause distortions and all sorts of nastiness if you're up in that red area. So you do want to make sure that you're not falling out predominantly in that red area.
I was going to say 24 hours.
And it's getting pretty high. So with this video, I may not boost, period. But you can boost if you need to, very easily. So I'm going to unboost that. Now notice over my little sequence here, it's it has a red bar. So it's before you actually exit or export the video. You do want to what we call render the video. In this case, Olive calls it caching, but it basically takes a look at that video and it's like, okay, we're going to kind of render out all of the special qualities of that video. And again, you're just going to go up to sequence and cache entire sequence. And notice that the line above it is turning from red to green. You can also follow the progress at the bottom here. Now, once I've isolated it, adjusted the audio, notice I'm not making any adjustments to the video. There's no need to, get fancy with this. We just want to see that segment of video. I prefer about a minute to a minute and a half of video or audio. That allows us to hear what's going on in the environment. We can determine if the sound that we're hearing is strangely out of place, or it might just be, Penny's stomach gurgling. So give me about a minute and a half when you're doing these little edits. Okay, so the next step is to export it. So I'm just going to export it, and it's only going to export that little tiny bit of video. Okay, and that's why we do it, so we don't have to go to a 27-minute file and try to find the one little clip of video. So when it comes to naming them, I wouldn't name it. I wouldn't change this. Wait until it's exported and then go into the file itself and change the name once it's done. But it's kind of touchy about. In fact, you can't export, for example, if it doesn't have that .mpeg4 on the file name. So I have found it just easier to keep it that way. But you do want to figure out where you're going to send it. So I'm going to send it to I have an external hard drive where I keep all of my footage just to keep it safe. So I'm going to choose that. And then I have a file with my investigations in it. Where is it? Why am I not seeing it? There we go, investigations. And then I always make a file for each and every investigation that we do. So boom. Now I'm just dumping right now possible EVPs and evidence in one folder. So I'm going to go ahead and say save. All right, and then the last step is to actually hit export. It's not actually exporting until you hit export. And now it's going to tell me the progress. It shouldn't take very long because it's a very short clip. While that's exporting, I do want to talk a little bit about file management, because it can be a real hassle if you don't have good file management skills. So when I'm saving files, like EVPs or something moving in the environment, or I see a shadow moving or whatever, I'm always going to name it where the camera was located, what investigation we were on, and then I give you the date of the investigation. So you'll see 10/19/24. That was when we did the investigation. We have been known to do multiple locations in one spot, and if I put the date on the files, I know exactly which investigation that was on. So like Hartley House, for example, we did 3 times. Basically, we did one investigation in a year at Hartley House. So in order for everything not to get terribly jumbled together, I have found putting the date is very helpful. Yeah, see, Hartley House, we did it 3 times. So so I have a different file for each of the 3 investigations. And hopefully, there we go. Yeah, so now there's a lot of raw footage, video and edit wise. So I put all of the raw audio in one file. There we go. So here's all my raw audio. And then I broke up the feeds evidence-wise into different files for the different rooms. So this is what we got in the spooky closet. This is what we got in the baby's room. This is what we got in the family room. This apparently was Rennie's feeds. So that's a good way to organize your files. Nowadays, actually, I will make one folder for raw video, one folder for raw audio, and then I usually do one file for possible evidence. I always put it out to the team to get everyone's opinion on the evidence, but I store it all in one file. Although this is a good way to do it as well, because it was multiple rooms, obviously, in the investigation. So I broke it up into the multiple rooms. So. Long story short, you have to have some way to organize your files. Otherwise, it becomes unbelievably difficult to manage or find anything. So, and the sooner you start, the better off you're going to be. So now, if I get back to my investigations file, and I'm going to go into OC. There we go. All right, and so it's going to show me my latest sequence, and I'm going to rename it now, okay? Because every time I try to export something in Olive, it's going to come down as sequence 1 over and over and over again. So, so I right-click on the file, okay? And then I'm going to hit the Show More Options, and then Rename. And again, I'm going to tell you where the capture occurred. So in this case, it was the surf room, which investigation it was. And it's hard to do this one-handed. So I'm going to just abbreviate Life Saving Station. And then I'm going to give you the date of the investigation. And I always use 2 number month, 2-letter day, 2-number year, not 2-letter, 2-number year, right? And there we go. So, and that is how you use Olive to export small clips from larger files. Okay? And now let me just show you. I don't know. I don't think you can hear it anyway, but it was the surf room, Robin. I lost my train of thought for a moment. There we go. And now it'll play automatically. And that is how you do it in Olive. Thank you.